I think things are evolving. I think that's also something that the work focuses on, is this idea of evolution. One way or the other, we have to evolve. For me, this has also been kind of a confrontation in the work where it has this focus on the past, like we talked about, the idea of the artifact, but I think I've tried very hard to look forward through these works as well, how to kind of use these symbols and these aspects of past life, of our body, and how we can use this to go forward into a kind of new unknown, because I think new solutions are necessary. I grew up as an only child with my mother, who was an antique dealer. My earliest memories were when we lived in England. She would take me to a lot of the museums, the castles, a lot of the flea markets where we'd go hunting for fossils and other artifacts. I think, this at an early age started a lifelong fascination with these kind of age-old objects that held some kind of gateway to a world that no longer existed. I remember particularly going to the British Museum when I was a child, and there was one mummy there that I was always fascinated with, and it had like the hairs still on the body, and to think that this thing was 2,000 years old and still this physical thing in front of us, yet still, no longer lived, but once had. It was a very surreal thing to see as a child. I think this is something that still lives on in my work. I think shows itself through a kind of uncanny understanding of life and death, and a world that changes quicker than we realize, I think. What I like about being an artist is about being able to create my own mythology. The language has definitely been influenced by the artifacts, influenced by the language of seeing these old things and being attracted to, I guess, the inherent oldness, whether it's the materials that are in there, the way things have worn. But I guess I try to use those in a very conscious way. I think that's maybe where that connection, is the strongest, because I don't want to see, I want to see them fresh. I like seeing them as new things that belong in this time and have something to say about our current state of things as well. A recurring image in this exhibition is the umbrella. It's something that slowly appeared in the work over the course of the last couple of years. I think this was the first time where I really explored that form. I think for me it started going to the beach a lot, seeing all the parasols on the beach, which right away connected to this idea of global warming, of the environment changing, of this need for protection, which I think a lot of the work was about in the first place. I think a lot of this is about the cycles of life, but also the necessity of these cycles to be protected. As the series grew, I try to look at different aspects of that form that kind of grew intuitively, and as they went from a very classical umbrella to kind of slowly opening up, that looking at the inside of the umbrella, at the parts that you typically don't see. I guess the kind of the seams, the aspect that is associated with the shadow, which for me also kind of correlates to looking at the things in life that don't exactly pop out right away or typically are hidden. As that went, I think the umbrella continued to take on different forms, more and more abstracted. The spine I see is this image of life and death that kind of flows throughout the whole exhibition. I think it's a reflection of the human body in the environment, connected to the animals, connected that, everything is connected. The form of the spine is this really nice symbol and nice physical presence to show the kind of travel of energy. So I see through the spine as where the energy travels through our body, but also I think the energy of the works kind of travel through that as well. The aspect of the scars or of the wounds in the work, I think that's something that came about naturally as the materials themselves, I think, are very vulnerable. I think that the etchings also, like any line shows up, there's no way of hiding. You pretty much get one chance, and I think that's also what I like about it. The acid eats it. It makes everything way more visible, and it's there forever. I think the wood mirrors this in a way. I think it kind of has the same sense, although you can heal it by, gluing more wood onto it. For me, this idea of mending, of healing, is something that is just a big part of nature as well. It's a big part of human life. It's a part of everything. I think it's also a really important thing to focus on going forward in this world, because I think we're at a point where healing is very necessary by all the scars we've caused in ourselves, but also in the world around us. I like that the works are imperfect in this way, that they're vulnerable, that there's a sense of the human, but also the natural, because I think that's what's so beautiful in nature, is the imperfection. The fact that it's not mass-produced, that it's not all the same. So I've been doing the etchings for about 10 years now, and I see them as something that kind of run parallel to my sculptural work. I think the etchings are they're very quiet. They happen in solitude. They're more connected to writing. They're kind of connected to storytelling. But at the same time, I think they cover the same themes. In the etching, there's lots of these layers where there's things coming out of things, and I think this is, for me, this idea of like the fountain of life, about things that, life just keeps growing out of itself, and there's another layer. I think this also connects back to the human psyche. I think our minds hold all these layers of consciousness, of the unconscious mind, of all this kind of content that no matter how far we dig, we still keep finding stuff. I guess I hope that people can see themselves in these work, can see themselves as part of the natural process we've talked about today. And I think the work is also, for me, a place for contemplation, a place for stillness, that kind of, I don't know, almost for me feels like it could be part of a ritual or something that takes us back to ourselves.